Good morning. Last night I asked a question before going to bed. I like doing this, where I pose a question and then I wake up and you guys provide all the content for my post. But I said, for those of you who work in marketing and social media, what's your biggest pain point? And the reason I asked this question is I've actually asked this question constantly over the last 6 or 7 years, because for me it's a really good gauge at where are people, where not just people, but where is the market in adopting social media. And also, since it's my job as a service provider within social media, it's always good to know what clients want. So I asked, and I got most of my responses on Facebook and Path, and it's really interesting. There were a few, there were a lot of common answers, but they kind of get lumped into 2 or 3 areas. Not counting snarky, sarcastic answers, which actually didn't get that many. One that I got actually multiple times, and it was snarky, but it's true, is dealing with people. Jeff Shuey said it's working with people who work in marketing on social media. Rick Trotsky said dealing with people. Several other people said the same thing. So definitely people is an issue. There were a handful of people who had Patrick Byers on Path said selling the big idea. Justin Foster, a friend of mine from Boise, said clients that know in advance what tactic they executed. I would kind of put those actually in the same area. People who know what tactic they want and come to you for tactics typically aren't looking for a big idea. Steve Sanders also said lack of senior leadership, fundamental understanding of social media. Again, I put all of those kind of in the same areas. Jessica Flynn, obviously, another good friend from Boise, who obviously was riffing a little bit off of my post yesterday about the death of Posterous, said getting attached to one particular platform that gets gobbled up, killed, changed. The rest of the answers seem to come around metrics. Lots of questions around metrics, so trying to understand which of the conversations I have on social media is going to be high value today. Sometimes the least expected conversations become the most interesting. That's from Greg Meyer. Greg actually posted on Facebook and Path. But he also said reliably identifying and executing the most high value items of the day. Which of the social media campaigns that you think would be really cool or ignored? So kind of the same thing, like how do you know you plan these great campaigns and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be huge, and crickets, nothing happens. Other initiatives just kind of spur of the moment become the runaway successes. The rest of them all seem to come around measurement. Jeffrey said tools that give you good actionable metrics. On going back to Path again, Andrei Nosalsky said automation and analytics. And with analytics, actually have meaningful stories behind all numbers, not just raw data like number of likes. Leanne said measuring and defining impressions, why qualitative data is just as important, valuable, if not more, than quantitative. And again, several other people, both on Path and Facebook, and I'd say the majority of the people commented on metrics, and not just metrics, but meaningful metrics, and the analysis and the stories behind that. What does it all mean? And to me, that tells me where we kind of are in the marketplace, that for the most part, people aren't having a problem selling in social media anymore. I mean, still some there, but really now it's okay, we sold it in, we're doing it, now how do we prove the value, how do we grow this, how do we sustain this? So it's if you look at the adoption cycle, technology adoption cycle, you have 5 stages, and I'd say we're probably at about stage 3, which is kind of that analytic stage, that putting in best practices. And so it's, we're still really in the early days. And so I think I tend to think, especially, there's nothing new in social media. And while there may not be anything new per se, nothing revolutionary like there was several years ago when we were first happening. There's still a lot of ground to go, and it's going to be a while still. So be patient, hang in there, have a good day.